right, everybody. So here is why I am actually calling for $14,000 Bitcoin here in like the next couple months. I know it's a pretty bullish call, and the time frame is pretty tight. Couple months. I give this 2 months to play out, but I'm pretty confident, and I'll tell you why. So bold call, but this is not going to be investment advice. This is not trading advice. This is just me kind of saying what I feel, looking at this 8-hour chart here in Bitcoin, coming from zoomed way out. We're coming down off 20K. We scooped up, and we're kind of continuing this big uptrend here. You see these lines I drew. These are important just because this is the main resistance line right here that we want. We haven't been able to break above in several months, right? Since 240 days, almost a year that we've been below 10K. But we really do want to come up here. So this was one range that we've broken out of. Here was, again, when I look at price, I always look at the ranges. What was the range and how is price behaving in that range? That is a key way to look at price. So you have this first range that was set. The next range that you have set was really, again, probably, let's call it from here down to this. So right there, you're in that range currently. See? Still within that range. But you can see it wants to break out of this range. It wants to break out of this range and retest some of this range back up here. This has been a very long range that we've been accumulating in, so I think that, and again, the longer the range, generally the longer and higher the price will go when it breaks out of that. What am I seeing here? So I'm looking at first the fact that this level we're very close to 10.3, and there's very strong chance that we get there. What happens when we break out above 10.3? You might see a lot of buyers come in right up here, right above this area. You might see a lot of buyers step in because I think a lot of people, there's going to be fuel. There's going to be buying fuel up here because people are now coming to me that I haven't talked to in a long time talking about like, oh, Bitcoin, it's on the news. I'm hearing about Bitcoin. I think that it's going to, go higher, but they don't understand the price action, the price history necessarily, how long we've been where and what price levels are significant. So this is the mid range. This is the midline. This is like, think of this as like the 50-yard line between, these guys right here. 50-yard line between these guys, these 2 points. The highest, this is another range, the highest point and the lowest point in this range. We're about to test the 50-yard line, and if we get rejected here, we have a lot of downside. So what do I mean by that? So boom, boom, boom. Let me find my brush. Why do we have a lot of downside if we get rejected here? There's just, this, that would be in play for sure, even though this held up as support. Lows would actually be in play, but once we get up here, these two, this was weakened. This was weakened. This third touch of the trend line here should prove, this was a very, very, very bullish dip, right, that we took right here. Like, holy crap. That's a very, very aggressive buy up at a very significant point in time. So we're definitely in the near term going to hit 10.5. Like, I don't have any doubt about that. I don't think that we're going to get up here and sense a lot of weakness in the market. I think there's only going to be continued excitement and new buyers stepping into the market now. I mean, think about Paul Tudor Jones. He's talking about buying Bitcoin. Chase Bank is opening up relations. That means there's an ever-expanding universe of people getting in the market right now that are willing to pay higher prices. So this, to me, really looks like there's going to be a lot of fuel, a lot of rocket fuel in this area. And that's kind of like this arbitrage of perception that's going on right now where you should be, playing this chart more of a seller right around here because of all these resistance levels that are forming. But kind of with everything else going on in the world, I think there's going to be a lot of action right here. Sorry about those notifications. I think there's going to be a lot of action right here because there's going to be sellers, there's going to be buyers, new buyers, sellers. We might even break out of this range, which would be pretty interesting. So I'm thinking that we're gonna see fireworks once we get back up here. I don't see much retracement coming in on Bitcoin. I don't think that we're gonna retest these lows. This seemed like a very significant accumulation zone right here. The dollar is only weakening, and the trend is only getting stronger. And one of these things that I also like to look out for is like how many we're seeing big ranging up days consecutively. Big ranging days, big range. You saw one big ranging down day right down here, but you're seeing a continued big range. That means these are large candles. Short, small range are these little baby candles. Small range, small range. So you want to see wide ranging days. That means there's a lot of excited buyers. So anyhow, in the near term, we're looking at 10.3, 10.5 for some resistance, but I don't think that and the resistance will be a lot of volume essentially. Oh my God, those are killing me. I'm sorry. I'm going to turn that off next time. I'm going to turn that off. But yeah, anyhow, that's the idea here. Lots of upside here for Bitcoin, buying at around 93.50. Tremendous upside, and I think that tremendous momentum as well, coming out of one of the world's greatest supply shocks to the shocks to the supply chain, and world's greatest money printing debacle, world's greatest great monetary inflation here with this whole COVID money printing thing with the Fed, and the digitization of the world. Just as things are getting crazy, and it's just the perfect time. So that's why I have such a bullish prediction, because it's all of this short-term price action volatility with a backdrop of what's going on in the real world that makes me think prices are imminent to go higher. But again, this is the line in the sand right here. Around $10,400, $10,500. Again, give or take couple $100, right around there. I'm excited, guys. That's going to be a firework of a day, and trust me, you guys will hear it here first. So that's the line to watch. Above that, you're going to have a lot of upside volatility. If we get rejected there, you're going to have a lot of downside volatility, consolidation, accumulation. That puts you a little further out towards the end of the year to expect a retest of that level here. I think we're going to make it. I think this is going to be the time. I think this is it. So yeah, send your thoughts below. Let me know what was confusing, what made sense, what didn't make sense. Happy to open up discussion. Probably the idea of ranges, one more thing before I go, is like ranges are always kind of showing themselves in like triangles. Triangles are very important. That's a triangle. You'll hear, when technical analysts talk about wedges or bull flags, triangles, pennants, all that kind of stuff. If you're sticking around to the end of this, I'm sure you actually care about this stuff, so I'll tell you. Like, you could always see, patterns form. And all those patterns are basically just consolidations, and it's either a bullish consolidation or a bearish consolidation. And for instance, right now, we're trying to, let's see. Like if you think about connecting your highs to your lows, your lows to your highs. We had a big triangle that formed right here that had a big breakout after we broke out of this triangle. That kind of started back here. We're actually in a trend right here off this break. So the top pattern that we might look for, the consolidation pattern we might look for coming off of this would be something that forms like that. That'd be a bullish consolidation. It would be bearish in retrospect if it kind of consolidated and broke down out of that triangle, then that support line becomes resistance. But it doesn't look like that's what you have to do when you're thinking about what price patterns are going to make it in what time frame. You have to look at relative to the highs and lows and how it's trading the momentum within this relative time frame. So if I was to look at the momentum for this consolidation zone right up here, I would throw on a tighter, I'd throw on maybe like a 1 hour chart or something, get a lot closer to see how price is behaving in this range. And this is where we're still in this little downtrend right here. That was a little, hopefully, a lot of people were playing that as a bull flag. If you think about this is an interesting idea that just came up here. So a lot of people were playing this breakout right here, right? saying, hey, we broke out huge against this long-term resistance that had kept price under it, since we broke down below here. So once we broke out, the market was like, all right, higher skies are in order. Everybody's excited. And a lot of players came in right here. A lot of people, heard about the breakout, and price caused a lot of people to buy in. And then we broke out of that level, and we were forming this breakout. A lot of people were probably playing like a bull flag. This ended up being a failed bull flag. A bull flag here would have resulted in a series of lower lows and lower highs in an uptrend, right? And then boom, it would catch the longer trend. But a lot of people got liquidated on that as this broke down, came and swept these lows. Um, anyhow, these guys who played this probably got knocked out of the market, and now we're going to see continued a long-term continued uptrend with this level. All these guys, these are buyers. That's support. That's why I don't think this is going to really be much resistance at the end of the day. These guys, you're going to see a lot more resistance up here around 10.4. That's why I think that level's so important, around 10.4. But I don't think it'll hold up that strong. It's really more of like a short-term resistance level, but long-term seems pretty good.